This is Ball on Blast, Raps post-game playoff edition. Part of the On Blast podcast network. Available on iTunes, SoundCloud and YouTube. If you like it, then subscribe and tell your friends. Holla.
We are live. Thank you for tuning in, because I know that was a long game to sit through and watch, especially at the end. It was tough for Raptor fans. But we are here still, as advertised, as promised. We are the Ball on Blast podcast, Raptors post-game edition. And we are live right now on Twitter and Periscope. Wow, I drew a blank there for a second. Twitter and Periscope. If you go to Twitter and find at Shell Alexander, that's where you can find this stream. Click the link and we are good to go. But again, we are here. I got Beals on the far side.
Yes, sir.
I got Q. Beals on the far side. I got Q. Supporting his Raptors red, and he's got his Raptors vest on, but he's not a happy camper, I'll say that much. Ola beside me, right directly beside me, and of course I am Sheldon Alexander, the host of the Ball on Blast podcast. As always, unpolished and unapologetic. Lots unpolished about the Toronto Raptors as they lose game 2, 128-110. Again, they lose game 2, 128-110 to fall 2-0 at home against LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Fellas, quite simply, just off the top, I'm going to ask you thoughts. What are you thinking right now? How are you feeling?
Lebronto.
Oh, man. Don't disrespect my city.
Don't
disrespect my city like
I'm
that,
not even
please.
go in like that.
Yo, Lebronto's a real thing.
No.
If you're a Raptor fan and if you don't know what's going on, you weren't on Twitter earlier or whatever, Mark Jones, who was calling the game on ESPN, going to break during the third quarter where I think LeBron James scored or assisted on 29 points for the Cavs. Going to break, Mark Jones said it's now Lebronto. So if that ends up,
Don't disrespect my city like that.
As I look at Twitter, it is now the 7th trending topic in Canada right now is Lebronto.
That's crazy. Don't disrespect my. Listen. Okay, we're in Toronto. Okay, the city does not belong to Drake or the Toronto Raptors right now. This is not their.
What happened in this game? We know that the Raptors let one slip in game 1, and that was a bad thing. But still, if they came back in game 2, put up a solid game, everything would be fine. It didn't go that well. What happened?
The Raptors are just not mentally tough.
Ooh. Why do you say that?
Because they were up a couple baskets going into halftime, and then
They're up by 3 at half.
and then but before the halftime break, there was a couple questionable calls by the refs,
Okay.
and that stuff gets to them, and their game is not the same, and then the focus then turns to the refs and not LeBron, not Kevin Love.
I'm gonna switch gears here though, because I think that it's almost unfair, because we got to give some credit to the Cavs and especially to Tyronn Lue, who I think gets a bad rap, very bad rap. But Tyronn Lue did a lot of things during this game that I think really gave the Raptors some fits. And the first thing was he made sure to get Kevin Love involved early. Kevin Love, I think, shot nine shots. I think Kevin Love took 9 shots in the first quarter. And he made sure to get him involved, made sure that he was active, made sure that LeBron would have some help. And Kevin Love stepped up big in this game. Kevin Love put in mega work. But he also the big thing that I thought Tyronn Lue needs to get a lot of credit for was at the to end the first quarter, he sat LeBron James. He sat LeBron James with about 3 minutes or so left in the first quarter. And what that did was it meant LeBron came back into the game to start the second quarter against the Raptors bench. And we all know from watching the Raptors for the whole year, that's when the Raptors bench really takes over against other teams. They make their run. They take leads, as we talked about last time. They take leads from 5 to 10, from 10 to 15. But you're not doing that against LeBron because he's controlling the pace. Ty Lue deserves a lot of credit here.
Yeah, he coached Dwayne Casey again, man. It's
not good.
It's not good. It's not a good look right now.
I feel, okay, hold on. First off, I'm going to say 2 things here, because at the end of the Raptors broadcast sounded really sad, and you guys seem really sad right now. Is that just a feeling right now? In Toronto, we're hurt? Foots, you're hurt?
Yeah, you know
Raptor
what?
fans are sad?
I am a little disappointed, man, because honestly, I picked them to win game 2.
Okay.
And honestly, these guys
they weren't prepared from the coaching staff to the players,
Yeah.
to Capo on the sidelines. None of the factors that were supposed to lead them into getting a game 2 victory occurred.
Yep.
Everybody looked sad.
Yeah.
The
You're right.
arena was quiet.
The arena was very quiet because it was that decisive third quarter that really turned everything around and changed things big time for the Cavs. They came out, I want to say I wrote it down somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. But to me, the big turning point, you're right, Foots, was the third quarter that the Cavs had. We said LeBron James scored or assisted on 29 points in that quarter. LeBron James also, I didn't like it. I think I tweeted it. But LeBron James was just a man possessed, and poor Pascal Siakam, he got thrown to the
He got
wolves.
sacrificed. Right? He got sacrificed.
Could you blame him though? Who can stop LeBron?
But I mean, again,
Him and OG got.
There's
Come
nothing-
on.
there's nothing-
And I can't blame-
there's nothing they
again,
can do,
we
man. It
talked
is what
about
it
this
is.
already, guys. We can't blame none of the young guys. We can't blame none of them because at the end of the day, they've never been here before.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's multiple other Raptors now that have been in a situation before
Yeah.
that are not stepping up.
Surge.
Yeah.
And that's
Surge
just
been
true.
to a finals, no?
Serge Ibaka, yeah, he's been to the finals with OKC for sure. He had a long run with OKC, playoff runs. He's been there. He's battle tested. He's supposed to be that, pardon the pun, because I didn't mean to say this, but OG vet on the Raptors, giving them the playoff feel, giving them that, encouragement that at the end of the day,
he was
like
supposed
that's
to be
the
he was
thing.
supposed to be the guy to go toe to toe with Kevin Love. He shoots threes, he rebounds. He was supposed to play defense, block shots, and we haven't seen none of it.
Yeah,
We haven't seen none of it.
yeah,
And then and that's the key. You're not going to guard LeBron James.
Kevin
when
Love.
he had a game like this, you're not going to guard LeBron James.
At one point, it just looked
But
like.
what you got to do, sorry, I
No,
don't cut
go,
you
no,
off,
you
but
go.
the key to beating the Cavs, because LeBron James is going to get his buckets, especially against the Raptors, but you need to close the gaps where you can. So if LeBron James is going to go 40, DeRozan's got to give you a 25, 30 piece. And then you got Valanciunas, who should be able to outscore Tristan by
Yeah.
5-10 points. You got Kyle Lowry, who should be outscoring George Hill by 10 points.
Lowry didn't play. Lowry played well for the first part of the game. Ola, what'd you think, man? What'd you think of just? We talked about Siakam, but who's the best matchup that the Raptors have to throw at LeBron? Do you think? Like
Nobody. Nobody. We don't have, honestly, and as we were discussing a little bit earlier on, like we have young players or we have our star players, right? And the stars players are not necessarily performing, and the young players, they've never been here before, right? It's that middle veteran guy that's been in the league a little bit, 5 or 6 years, 7 years, just a role player. We don't have those bodies to throw at LeBron James. So honestly, it's not looking good.
But we have multiple bodies. And like I said after game one, is you got 30 fouls between Powell,
And I agree with
Siakam,
that.
OG,
Start using your
Miles,
yeah,
Serge. That's about 30 fouls. LeBron should not be finger rolling the ball and making layups like they're nothing.
taking
You gotta-
rainbow
right?
threes in the
Taking
corner.
fadeaway
At
rainbow
least 5
threes.
times
He
did
play.
that.
He's playing these guys like how I play ball against my sons.
It's ridiculous.
He sunned them. He
There's
sunned the
gotta be a
Raptors today.
reason.
And you know what? That's fine.
It's gotta be
Is
a
it
reason.
fine?
And that's fine. But you can't let Kevin Love go for 30.
No, you
not fine.
can't. There's got to be a
not
reason
fun.
why they're
Right?
not playing Norman Powell. That's just, I don't know what it is. He's sitting on the bench, like you said.
But
Just
Norm-
fouls,
but-
just fouls. Just put him out there.
Do you know what you really need? You need somebody like LeBron James shouldn't repeatedly be able to drive down the lane untouched, and that happened.
Untouched.
That
That's
happened
it.
too
He's doing the
much.
same move
That happened
over
too
and
much.
over
Yeah.
again.
Too much.
And for all those people that are, look at LeBron's numbers, LeBron is better than Jordan. Believe me, if this was the 90s Pistons, the even the Cavaliers from the 90s, there would be you would not be able to do that.
There's no easy layups.
You would come up with bruises.
You know what? There's an elephant in the room. Right
Oh,
now,
okay.
Norman Powell is looking like last year's James Johnson.
2 years ago.
Facts.
Or 2
That was
years
2
James
years ago.
Johnson. And we know where he went. So why don't we just pack up Norman Powell's bags right now and ship them out? Because that's what it's looking like, Raptor fans.
waste of time.
And I have
And
a
the
feeling,
funniest-
and I have a feeling that Norman Powell could actually help.
The
Right now.
funniest thing is when they didn't play James Johnson, who was the man that they put in the game against
Norman
LeBron?
Powell. Norman
He was your best option then.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't
He's not your
know.
best option now. I know he didn't have a great season.
He didn't at all.
I know he didn't have a great season, but
It's the playoffs.
you're not getting but he didn't have a great season offensively. You're not getting the offense from OG or Siakam either. That's
Yeah.
another
Norman
that's
Powell
another
played well last year
defensive.
in the playoffs.
That's another defensive option to throw at the guy.
Yeah,
And you have
right
to
now-
throw multiple. You got to at one possession. You got to throw a big man at LeBron. Then you got to throw a smaller guy. You got to make him switch it up. When he just gets to back guys down over and over again and get into a rhythm, you're not going to stop him.
He's too comfortable.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm going the opposite way. I know, like, Norman Powell, you're right in the sense that Norman Powell was the X factor for the past 2 years for the Raptors. They were in trouble in both series. If you go back to 2 years ago against Indiana and Paul George, it was Norman Powell that came in Game 5, turned that game around, turned the series around, and then last year he did the same thing against the Bucks, right? So I hear you, and I agree with you guys. But I got to say that I'm tired of Lowry and DeRozan getting a pass because at the end of the year, they're the two guys, they're the lead guys, and it's the playoffs. Kevin Love played terribly, and you know what? They made sure to find a way that Kevin Love would be involved early. Kevin Love would shoot a high percent. Kevin Love took 21 shots in this game. He hit 31 points. Kevin Love, who was invisible for most of this playoff so far, right? 31 points. But why? Because they made a point at the start of the game to feed Kevin Love early and often. And you look at Love and LeBron, the Cavs figured out a way that said, hey, our two stars, this is what our stars are going to do. Our stars are going to put in work. Our stars are going to lead us. And I go to the Raptors and I look at DeMar DeRozan, and I know he's a volume shooter, but 11 for 23 for 24 points is not enough. That's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it.
And you're right, but this is how when we go back into the start of our show right now, we talked about Tyronn Lue. And again, he out coached Casey because I remember, I believe it was the third quarter. Where every possession went into Kevin Love in the post, Kevin Love in the post, Kevin Love in the post, Kevin Love in the post.
That's where it started.
Against CJ Miles. How many
Just
times?
watch out for the cords there, okay, guys?
How many times are you going to sit
Just
there?
watch out for the cords there, guys, okay?
Are you going to sit there as Dwayne Casey and allow Kevin Love to just go to work on CJ Miles before you make a switch?
Yeah.
It was about the lead went from I think maybe 5 points, around 5 points to 15 points before a timeout was called, and Jakob Poeltl was put in a different look to try to go up against Kevin Love.
Yeah, I mean,
And then there was no coming back after that.
Yeah, you're right. There was no coming back. That third quarter really changed everything for the Raptors, and it really looked sad. Like it was silent in the ACC. LeBron was just toying around with them. That's the most disrespectful part. Beals, you brought it up before. The shots that this guy was taking and making.
We've seen him take at least 3 to 4 straight rainbow shots. Same move every time. And like fade away rainbow shots.
And Portland and Siakam, they're so young, they don't understand how to even play LeBron.
Can't defend that.
But do you remember?
You can't even
There's
attempt
nothing you
it.
can do.
Not even
There's
given
no
the
attempt
tools
to
to do
defend
it.
it.
But that even when he missed the shot, I remember he tried one jiggy turn fadeaway jumper from inside the three, and it was an air ball, and I think it was Valanciunas and DeRozan fumbled the ball out of bounds.
Yeah.
So even when he was missing, you guys weren't capitalizing on it.
I don't know, man. Some of those shots, like when he's hitting the step back threes, when he has the whole game going, he has everything just on and popping. It's tough to match up with that. And I don't know anyone who could stop that, right? And that's why I say, like, hey, say what you want about Russ. Say what you want about, like, I don't know, man. I just have a lot better feeling of losing to the Cavs and LeBron if our stars were going for 35 and taking L's. I'm okay with that at the end of the day.
They can
But
get swept if it's 2-point games. If they're losing by 2 every game and it's competitive and and LeBron's making those shots at the end of the game, you could walk out of that arena with your head held high.
And the stats say LeBron, not LeBron, DeRozan and Lowry have at least 25 or 30 a piece. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Like I'm okay with that, but I'm not okay with them not performing and LeBron having pretty much a triple double.
yeah.
Kevin Love having a 20 again. Like that's ridiculous.
Again,
man. It's ridiculous.
It goes back to again what we said in game. It seems like this was just a repeat of game 1, pretty much at the end, because it goes back. And I've heard Shaq say it. I've heard I think it was Paul Pierce say it, and I've heard Kevin Garnett say it. When it comes to the playoffs, you whatever you did in the regular season, you have to multiply that.
Go up.
It's got to go up.
You average 25 in the regular season. I mean, look at LeBron. He averaged, 28 for the regular season, somewhere around there. And he's averaging damn near 40 points in the playoffs. You got to step it up.
Do you know what? It's really depressing, though, because if you think about it, everything was in the Raptors' favor heading into this series. The Cavs were pushed to 7 games, so you got to see kind of a blueprint in terms of what kind of defenses or what type of matchups worked better against the Cavs, right? They're pushed to 7 games. They finish game 7 on Sunday. They fly into Toronto on Monday. They play the game on Tuesday, and it goes to overtime, so LeBron has to spend even more energy. And I keep bringing this up because I don't know if we brought this up on the podcast, but I saw it after the game. As soon as the Cavs won that game, LeBron walked off with his arms in the air, like celebrating hard as if like, not that he was stunned that they won, but he was really happy that they won because he knew how important that was for them because that was a game, not that they would be expecting to lose or anything, but it was definitely a game where they would have been okay to lose because you would understand if they lost that game. And then now you get blown out in game 2 at home. That's unacceptable. Unacceptable.
I think with each game, I think with the first game, LeBron came in. He's confident. We never talk about his confidence. Me personally, I don't think he's that confident when he faces certain teams. But I think game 1, his confidence just went through the roof. When he's like, okay, this is what it is. I know what I can do. And I know the team can do.
I think he knew he didn't have the greatest of games.
Yeah.
Like he had the triple double, great, but he didn't have the great. He didn't take over that game.
Yo, he said post game, he said that was probably his worst game of the season.
Yeah, he did say that.
What?
He did say that.
The man had a triple double.
Still won.
But didn't he also say too that game 1 they're gonna wing it?
Yep.
So if that's winging it, game 2, you know, as a Raptor fan, you got to come out hard because you already know, like,
there's no
Watch your cords.
There's no sense of urgency on the Raptors. The Raptors players. There's no sense of urgency.
They look tired.
There's no. This is it. And you know, I've been listening to sports radio all day, driving around in the car, and I think it was Mad Dog and those guys talking and saying that this was the most important game in Raptors history. Because if you guys can't beat this Cavaliers team with LeBron James, right?
Yeah.
What are you guys going to do next year? When you're not only going to have maybe LeBron James on this team, plus they have a lottery pick.
Yeah.
Right? Plus you know LeBron is not going to be happy with the team.
Who knows if LeBron stays up?
If he does stay, that team will be altered. Right? He's not going to go through another season like this year and seed. Right? They're going to get a high draft pick. There's probably going to be another trade in the mix, and somebody else is probably going to be on the Cavaliers. Then you got the 76ers, who will be another year. The 76ers, I believe, also have a lottery pick.
I think so.
In the draft. So they're going to be better and a year older. Right? And Markelle Fultz, the number 1 pick from this year, will be there for the full season. Then you got the Celtics with Kyrie and Gordon Hayward back for a full year. So
hold on. Hold on. Let me. It sounds like we're skipping ahead and talking about next year already, but it's 2-0 right now against the Cavs. Are we talking like the series is over?
So we got to get to game 3.
I'm asking the question.
I'm saying, like I said, I believe the last podcast I said I was 70-80% that the Raptors were going to win this series. After they lost game 1, I think that went down to about a 50%.
Okay.
I'm at about a 2% right now.
Yeah.
They'd have to. I believe they have to go in and do what Cleveland did to them, and go in and win 2 games in Cleveland.
Yeah.
It's a wrap. Yeah. I don't want to say it's a wrap.
But
I think the Raps got to win 1 to show face.
How do you want it? Game 5 or game 6? How do you want it?
I don't see.
LeBron's in the mold right now. How do you want it? Game 5 or game 6? Do I want to meet you on your home court and go party with the chicas afterwards, or do I want to go back to the crib and party down at the Q?
Yeah, that's it.
I mean,
they got to try to get 1 to save face, but.
I think
it's looking like a sweep.
I don't think it's about saving face at this point because to me, whether you lose in 4
Is
or
it
you
even
lose,
worth
or
saving face?
if you lose in
Yeah.
4 or you lose in 5, changes have to be made. Like I said this earlier. If they lose in 6 or lose in 7, and all those games are competitive and close,
Yeah.
and you know they gave them a run, but you know they just couldn't overcome LeBron,
Yeah.
then I think maybe you give them another year, you add another piece here and there, and
Yeah.
you go at it again. But you just get manhandled again.
I think if you're Masai,
Masai
and
got
the
work
Ra-
to do.
I think if you're Masai and the Raps lose, you got to hold on. Do we get rid of Masai?
No. Masai's not going anywhere. Masai's here for a long time until Masai doesn't want
He's
to be
got
here
to
anymore.
really sit back and get rid of.
There's two sides to this. There's two sides to this, right? Because at the end of the day, we're comparing Masai and we're just thinking solely in the last like 5-year run.
Yeah.
You can't get over the hump.
He's
beat
the
the
best
playoffs.
GM we've
but
ever
you can't get past LeBron, right? First off, you keep losing to LeBron, which okay, whatever that means, we'll set that aside for a second. But put it in the context of what this franchise was before Masai got here. You can't get rid of Masai. You can't get rid of Masai. He gave it a stability. He gave it a legitimacy, right? Like he made this a legitimate franchise. And I don't even think it's on him. Again, like
No, I don't.
it's not on him because he
Not
put
on
the
him.
pieces in place. You got to think of how many times he's remixed this team
Thank you.
around Lowry and DeRozan to give them the pieces. Because remember, go back. They had who? Lou Will and Grievous Vasquez, right? And at that time, after that season, Lowry and DeRozan, there was rumblings behind the scenes. Lowry and DeRozan weren't really rocking with Grievous and Lou Will. So those two guys get shipped out. Next year, we get another bench. And that bench still holds out, maintains. Raptors get swept. Oh, no, sorry, my bad. They got swept the same year with Lou Will and Grievous. Those guys get shipped out. Next year, we get a new bench in. Still doesn't really work, right? You still end up losing to LeBron anyways. So now let's be honest again, because I feel like, and I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't think this bench that the Raps were coming in with was going to work this year, right? I thought they were too inexperienced. I didn't think it would work. I thought the Raptors would regress, and instead they had the best season in franchise history. Yeah. So besides retooling the team on the fly to give Lowry and DeRozan all these different options, and to me, at a certain point, it just comes down to Lowry and DeRozan.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what
They're
we were
just
saying-
not those dudes.
That's what we were saying game one. They're two superstars. We have two superstars. And neither one of them stepping up.
And what did we talk about last time? We're going to see the difference between a superstar in this league and just an all-star.
There's levels to this,
There's
right?
levels.
You know, you're
right?
very, you're very right. But there's only so many of those
Superstars, for
superstars.
sure.
True.
You know,
sure.
True.
So you have to
Get them more help.
In terms of a franchise, I'll tell you, man, I honestly think that if you sit inside MLSE and you have their boardroom meetings with Masai or whatever, and every year it's like, okay, well, the team is in first place or the team is in the top part of the Eastern Conference, but they keep losing to LeBron, MLSE is going to take those checks. They'll take those playoff checks every year. They get to rise the ticket prices every single year. They're not mad. They're not complaining about this. But I just want to read some quotes here. Dwayne Casey says, quote, Serge hasn't been himself. I don't know what it is. Serge Ibaka again, just to read Serge's line from tonight.
Man had 2 points.
Serge Ibaka in 12 minutes, 0 for 5.
Terrible.
2 points, 6 rebounds,
Trash.
0 blocks.
As a big man, you should walk out of bed and get 6 defensive rebounds.
With 2
So
points.
having 6 rebounds
Like-
is trash. Having 2 points is trash.
Like, you're 0 for 5, and we know not all of those shots are threes.
The man didn't dress. He didn't even suit up today then. That's all.
And
That's
again,
what that stat line tells me.
And
The man
again,
didn't suit up.
it's kind of maybe it's a Toronto curse because I mean you get these guys who come off career years or who are known for
Yeah.
certain things and
Yeah.
then they get here and I don't know whether it's the system. I don't know whether it's you know
Something.
I can't blame
I don't
the
know
system.
I don't know
Can't
if
blame the system,
I don't know
man.
if it's the food up here.
No,
that's not-
Serge, Serge even got his Congolese place. I was watching the bid on
Well,
Vice Sports.
well,
He got his. Is it Congolese? Did I say that right? Is that what it is? Yeah.
you got
He was saying that he got his spot, and the lady delivers him the food.
Come on,
Well,
man. The
like,
man
he's
gets
good.
his-
Then
the
He has
man
a
gets his
cent up.
full regular. on
Cent up.
time.
Well,
Cent
maybe,
up.
maybe get too
Cent
much.
up.
Maybe get too
Yo,
much.
I
food
saw
then.
the
Maybe
I saw
got
the
too
lady
much
in the
food.
interview. The lady goes, "We don't do delivery, but he pays us to deliver to him."
Right?
I said, "Okay."
Well,
He's getting his food and he's got
Yeah.
if he's
got
getting
no
well, he's
complaints.
getting the
Show
food
up,
delivered
show
to
up,
him,
get
but he's
3.
not delivering on the court. That's what the business
He's
is.
having a hard
Right?
time. He's having a
Yeah,
hard
yeah, yeah.
time defending and beating Kevin Love off the dribble. That's crazy.
It's not even that he's losing the matchup against Kevin Love, because I think player for player, Kevin Love is better than Serge, but he's getting dominated. That can't happen.
completely dominant.
That can't happen. Like
Kevin,
if Kevin Love,
is a better offensive player.
But defensively,
But
he should
defensively,
true,
he
you're
should
right.
have- he
You're
should
right.
have that
You're,
step.
you're
He
right.
should have that step on Kevin Love. Every
Kevin Love's
time.
outscoring you 31-2.
And again, like I said, I've been listening to sports radio all day, and they were saying, like, Serge Ibaka's only 28. That's an early downhill slide
Yeah.
from where he was at 22, 23 when he was
Yeah,
on
yeah.
OKC. You know,
Got
He
lazy,
needs
turned
energy,
into a
man.
jump
they
shooter,
remember they signed him to the big deal, which is why they had to ship Harden.
but too, man, everybody's in that stretch 4 era, right? So he had to expand his game. So, but again, too, you can't forget what got you in the league.
Yeah.
Rebounding and being
Blocking.
aggressive on the defensive end,
Yeah.
blocking shots, running the floor like a gazelle, that got you into the league.
Got you into it, man.
That can extend. You can extend your game by adding range, but don't forget what got you there. And I think Serge is forgetting what got him there initially.
Right
Yeah.
now, the Raptors
and
need
that's-
him to. Right now, the Raptors need him to block shots and grab rebounds.
Yeah.
But again,
He's
I think
some
that's,
type of defensive threat because he's
again,
not.
that's the system is everybody comes here and just wants to be a catch and shoot guy.
Started with Hayden
No, that
Turkoglu.
happens. That
Remember
happens, though.
Turkoglu?
No, but that happens in the NBA as players urge that they're less likely to be taking the contact and going hard to the basket. Like that's a natural thing. That's not just guys that come to Toronto. Like Melo. Melo used to live at the free throw line. Melo doesn't drive and get to the free throw line
You're
anymore.
right, but again, Serge is 28, Melo's 33, and
34,
has
Still,
miles
but-
on him.
Okay, but the miles on people's bodies, like who
Oh, yeah,
knows?
bang,
Who knows
yeah,
what
he's
that?
getting
I don't
banged,
know,
but
man. Like I don't know.
We
I don't.
paid
I know
him
what
to
you're
do a
saying.
job.
Yeah, I know what you're
He's doing
saying.
a job,
He's
right?
not doing his
he's not
job.
doing the job. So
But the other part too, I wanted to big up is George Hill. George Hill was pretty much hurt for most of the Indiana series. George Hill was getting ripped because he didn't really provide much to the Cavs this year after that trade at all. And George Hill, so far in this series, has been a factor. Today he had another, it's just solid. They don't need George Hill to go crazy, but George Hill gave them 13 points, 5 of 8 shooting. You'll take that. You'll take that.
Solid.
JR had another good game. JR 5 of 8, 15 points. JR's giving you 15 points in a playoff game. You'll take that.
bringing Henny to the table.
Yeah, and then
Anything is possible, right?
You know who had a good game, and we didn't mention it last time. Jeff Green.
Yeah. Yes. You are correct.
He had a good game last. He had a good game the last.
well,
go
maybe
around.
that's
And again
maybe,
tonight.
maybe that's going
Yeah.
on what Foots has said, and you need veteran guys who are going to come in here and contribute. On
But-
top of
but
that,
hold on,
top
though.
of-
Like
on
in-
top of hold on. On top of that is you're naming guys who have had success against Toronto in the playoffs.
Well, going back to what we were saying, going back to what we were saying about Ty Lue and what's going on with Dwayne Casey, right?
coaching him.
Again, the bench. How much are you going to roll with the bench? All that. I've been pleading. Listeners to the Ball on Blast podcast know this. I've been pleading the whole year. You can say that's fine and good, but you need to know when the chips are down, who is your 5 that you're going to get you energy with the season on the line. And the Raptors still don't know that. So it's fine to say that your bench is great and you have all this depth, but when it's come down to the come down, who are the 5 guys you're putting out there on the court? The flip side of that is the Cavs sputtered through that first round playoffs, the first round against Indy. And what did they say? They said, okay, well, we know that we've been through it, and here are the guys that won the championship with us before. It's Tristan, it's JR, it's Corver, and it's Kevin Love. This is who we're rolling with. I know that we know these guys have been in the moment. They've done it for us. I trust these guys. And that basically saved the Cavs in the first series, and those guys are dominating now in the second series against the Raptors. You got to know who your guys are, and it's great to have a deep bench, but what does that mean when you're getting crushed, you're getting punched in the face, and you need the counter? Who are you going with?
And that's where, it makes it a lot easier when you're $50-60 million backcourt is doing what they're supposed to do,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right.
And
Those guys can can give their 13 points here and hit an open shot there and play defense here where it suits them,
Yeah.
because they don't have to do anything more because LeBron does that.
Yeah.
So now
More.
if DeRozan does his job, if Lowry does their job, if Serge getting paid what, $22 million, if he does his job, now Siakam doesn't have to worry about offense. He
Yeah.
can just focus. My job is to limit LeBron,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
you can feel comfortable, right?
for sure.
Van Fleet doesn't have to come off the bench and say, I got to save this team and
That's
with-
crazy.
with these,
you know
with
what?
these shots.
Just think about that. Van Fleet came from our farm system, aka the D League last year, and now
Undrafted.
we have him as a guy that's supposed to save us. Come on, Raptor fans, what are we talking about here?
It seems like Raptor fans, I guess, are relying on the bench to do what they did in the season to do in the playoffs. That's not fair,
not
man.
right.
It's
It's
not
not. You know
fair.
what? It's not
fair.
And again, the
Yeah.
adjustment,
Raptors
and again,
fans.
the adjustment by Ty Lue that said, I'm going to rest LeBron late in the first quarter so that LeBron is playing against the Raptors bench fresh to start the second quarter. And when the Raptors were up like 8, they couldn't push that lead. The Cavs kept it close. The Cavs kept it close. And then third quarter came, lights out. Like Ty Lue, I'm gonna read another quote here from Dwayne Casey, and I want to get you guys' thoughts on this. Casey, after the Game 2 blowout loss, he says, quote, "The one thing you have is pride. Tonight wasn't us. We'll find some answers, whether we change the lineup or whatever it is, to keep the offense moving, the pace going, the game moving."
Come on, man, cut it
Okay,
out.
I'm gonna stop you right there. 'Cause first off,
Cut it out.
again,
it out,
we
man.
talk about in the playoffs.
Yeah.
you go with the guys who are gonna take you there, right? We're still running a 10-man rotation.
But that's because he doesn't know who his guys are.
Right, exactly. So, but you're already running a 10-man rotation. Where's the change?
So
You gonna start, baby?
let's look at the guys. DeRozan, Lowry,
But who's your
Serge.
who's your lineup? What's
I'm going to give you the 8 guys who they should be going.
okay?
Jonas.
Yeah.
Who's the 5th?
OG.
Siakam, Van Fleet,
That's 6. Yeah. 7.
and what's his name?
CJ.
Porto?
CJ.
CJ and Porto. That's your 9-man rotation.
That's a lot
right
of
there.
guys already.
But that should be your rotation right there.
Okay.
then. That should be your rotation.
Yeah.
You forgot Miles. There's 10.
We gotta get rid
Nah, man. Beals, that was the process of elimination.
What are you saying? You're saying Miles is out?
Miles
man,
is
listen, man. He's too streaky.
Yeah.
He's too streaky offensively.
But the whole-
He's a
that's-
defensive. He
that's
needs
the
defensive liability, man.
That's the Raptors' problem is
defensive liability.
is we don't have that. I mean, DeRozan's going to average what he averages over a course of a season. But
Yeah.
you got to think he also has those stretches where he'll go 35, 17, 40.
Streaky too.
What do you have? 52 in one game? 53?
DeRozan?
DeRozan one
Oh
game?
yeah, against the Bucks. Yeah,
53,
yeah.
8.
How much did
Right?
Kyle Lowry
It's
have
not. It's
tonight?
not a consistent. It's not a consistent 25, 25, 25,
Yo,
25.
stop banging on the
25.
table, man. You're hitting the mics, man. You're hitting the mics,
21?
man. You know, I know you're hyped now. You're hyped
How
now.
many shots he put up?
Kyle Lowry had 21 points on 10 shots.
What about threes?
Efficient.
He's efficient tonight.
Yeah, 3 of 6. 3 of 6. 3 of 6.
They
for
gotta
Kyle
make
Lowry.
LeBron feel them though. Like you
bang
gotta
him.
put
You
your
gotta
hands
put your
on
body
Like,
on
it's
him,
too-
man. You gotta
put your
do
body
more,
on him.
man.
He's too comfortable. He's too lackadaisical out there. He's cool. He's comfortable.
He's playing horse in the third quarter.
But that's what I'm
He's
saying.
playing
like,
horse.
I gotta see. At least make him touch the wood.
Yeah,
Once.
and it can't be the rookies. The rookies
And it
can't
can't
be
be
the
the
because the
rookies.
rookies
Van
not gonna
Fleet,
the
remember we
rookie
talked about
the
this.
rookies
Van
not gonna
Fleet-
get the calls, right? It's got to be the vets.
It has to be the vets because the rookies are not going to get the call like Beals just said. Like
Exactly,
you got to
man.
make LeBron feel you, and I feel like I'm not seeing nobody on the Raptors make LeBron feel them.
Nah, man.
Take a 1 or 2 fouls, hard fouls, aggressive fouls.
Yeah.
Because you're not going back at him.
No.
There's nobody that's going back at him, so you might as well just muddy up the game a little bit.
Yeah.
Coach
No.
should muddy up the game. At this
dirty,
point,
man.
you got to try something.
They got to try something because, I mean, I don't know if Norm Powell's the answer. The Raptors haven't won in Cleveland in a long time. Like, I honestly, in all honesty, I don't know what the answer is. I thought the Raptors, I mean, even though I said that I didn't think I needed to see the Raptors beat the Cavs before I would believe that it would happen, I didn't think it would go like this. This is pathetic. I thought they'd put up a fight.
it's
You can't be
tough,
getting
man.
blown out in basically your season's on the line here, right? And you got blown out. Of course you can. Come on now.
Okay, guys. Because it seems like an emergency right now.
It's emergency.
Now, do you, as a coach, call out DeRozan and Lowry
Nah, because that's your job.
at this point?
You can't.
Just to fuel some type,
You
maybe
can't.
getting a reaction out of them.
You can't.
Because right now, these guys are just, it seems like it's just,
Coasting.
they're mum, they're coasting. And at the end of the day, he might even lose his job anyways.
Yeah.
So you might as well go for broke right now.
Yeah.
I'm calling those 2 guys out. That's something that he hasn't done ever. It's always been blanket company man excuses for those two gentlemen.
Yeah.
This could be his job anyways at the end of the year, especially if they get swept.
Yeah, if they
I'd
get
rather
swept.
I'd rather call a man out
Stack.
at this point.
I think.
Yeah.
I don't think you call out both of them. I think you call out one of them, but not directly. I think you call out one of them.
Sublims.
That's the only way he can do it, though.
I think, okay, we
We
know,
trolling.
He doesn't have the balls to do it.
We
You
know-
know that, Foots. You know
we
he's a
know-
blanket coach.
we
You
know
know he doesn't have
if
the
he-
balls
if
to
he-
do that.
If he's calling out somebody, wouldn't it have to be DeRozan? Because
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Lowry won't take that.
And
You know
Lowry,
there's a way-
and Lowry
there's a
played well
professional
too.
way-
Lowry
That's
played
what
well.
I'm saying. He's gonna have
this
to
is
do
what I'm
it that
saying,
way.
but I don't. This is the thing is like Lowry's stat line, and he had a good stat line today. Okay, stat line, but that kind of the stuff we kind of see from Valanciunas, where you're looking at the game and go like,
Oh, I
if you're
see.
shooting 60% or whatever from the field, why are you only getting 10 shots?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
It's true.
Yeah. I will say this too, and I wrote this down earlier. The Raptors, I think offensively, defense is another thing, but offensively, I think they're at their best when they were playing Fred, DeLon, and then one of Kyle or DeMar. Just because both Fred and DeLon are threats to get the ball, break their guy down, and create a shot for someone else. You know, and Lowry was getting a lot of open looks from three, and he was effective, you know, and I just think that's kind of the way you got to look at it because, I mean, again, that's offensively. Now, defensively, can you play Lowry and Van Fleet at the same time? I don't think so because then
a
they
small
play
backcourt.
LeBron at guard, and what do you do?
It doesn't work because from what we've been watching the last 2 games, I think with Van Fleet on the floor, gives Kyle Lowry an excuse not to attack. I
Yeah.
think he goes straight into point guard mode, and I think it should be the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
I think Van Fleet should that's what he's there for, to be the point guard.
Yeah.
When Kyle Lowry's on the floor, I think he just gets too relaxed when there's another point guard on the floor because he goes into that I'm going to distribute mode. You know.
Yeah.
I think I want Kyle Lowry to be more aggressive in general.
Thank you. That
In
makes no
general.
sense.
Yeah.
That makes no sense. You have Van
general.
Fleet come in and then you're still playing point guard. They're moving you off the ball. Shoot the ball.
They're not locking him down that good to where he can't come off the
He's
ball
taking
and
himself
bang
out the
threes.
game.
He's taking himself out the game.
And going to the defense, Vic, you're worried about who's going to guard LeBron. But and I think it goes back to how when we talk about Cleveland going up against Golden State, where you can't where you're exchanging twos for threes. But if you're going LeBron Lowry, then you're kind of even in because LeBron's not going to kill you from the 3-point line.
Sorry, I'm laughing right now because I just saw a quote from DeMar DeRozan. Quote,
Fuck outta
we
here, man.
thrive. What, man? I didn't even get it out yet. DeMar DeRozan said, quote, we thrive off of adversity. Now, there's no context to it. There's no context. I'm just reading the quote, and someone quote tweeted it. A Raptors fan quote tweeted it and said, literally no one believes this. I can't say that I do. I don't believe it. I mean,
You can't because it's been 5 years. Right? It's been 5 years.
I feel
DeMar,
I feel
man.
like somebody's gonna cue in that interview with Kyle and DeMar again, and they're talking about, well, he's just that it's LeBron James, of course. If we had LeBron, we'd win
No,
too.
but you know what?
Like, I'm waiting
But you
for
know
one
what?
of
that to
But
me
you know
sums
what?
up
And
the
I think-
series. That quote from last year's playoffs when Kyle and DeMar were like, well, they have LeBron James and we didn't. I feel like that has been the theme of this series. That
But-
the Raptors have that mentality.
That
But
loser mentality.
I think
Yes.
I think
Like,
I
they
think
don't
the
believe
Toronto
that they could beat
media-
LeBron.
I think the Toronto media needs to give the Raptors some Maple Leafs treatment. Because if Austin Matthews would have said, well, they have Zdeno Chara, or you know, or they have David Pasternak.
Yeah,
What do you expect us to do?
Goalies took her ass.
Yeah.
The media, and the whole city would have killed Austin Matthews.
It's true.
Right?
100%.
It's true.
Now we laugh and make fun of DeRozan and the quote and be ha 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 ha, but they don't get the same treatment. Like
they
somebody,
get kind of a free pass.
Somebody really has
Not
to
kind
go
of,
in there
they
and
do
say
get a
like,
free pass.
aren't you guys really tired of getting sunned by
Yeah.
LeBron James?
I'm not going to
Over
get
and
into
over
it too much. I'm not going to get into it too much, but I will say this: that those two guys are very sensitive to what the media does say about them.
Definitely.
I'm not going to get into it like deeper. I'll let people read into that what they will, but there's definitely a thing where they pay attention to what people say about them and they know it, and so the media likes to play it. It's just easier for you to do your job. Well, it's easier for you to do your job because you got to go in front of these guys each and every day. And so you know, if you were going to call out DeRozan and say, hey, you're getting outplayed by Kevin Love, like we're not even talking about LeBron, but Kevin Love, that's not good.
You got to word it
It's a
differently.
confidence crusher for him.
Well, Serge says, mentally, I have to stay stronger and not give up. Sorry, I'm going to read that again.
To state the obvious.
He says, mentally, I have to stay stronger and not give up and just get ready for the next game.
This is not NCAA or AAU. This is the NBA playoffs.
Josh Donaldson
Been here
had
before,
Josh Donaldson to
man.
me had
Been here
the
before.
best quote ever. He's like, this isn't a try league. This is a get it done league.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like,
and then
he's talking about baseball, but it's pro
It's
sports.
It's the same mentality.
Right?
man.
It's
the
not
same
about
mentality.
like I have to stay strong and not give up. Like this is the playoffs. This is like to me as a fan, okay? And I know that you know, I'm not a player, so I don't know what their mentalities are in the offseason, how they react to losses, whatever. But I'm gonna tell you something. After they lost to the Cavs last year, to me, nothing else mattered until they played the Cavs again this season, right? And now you're here. So I'm thinking, again, and I argued with Raptors fans for the whole year. And again, I am a Raptors fan, but you get called a hater as soon as you say anything bad about the Raptors. And I said, hey, it's great, the regular season success, cool, legitimizing the franchise, but that doesn't mean anything. You still got to beat LeBron and come playoff time. And now we're here, and I'm thinking this is all I've been waiting for as a fan. So for them, shouldn't that be the same thing? Like, wouldn't you think that this is the moment that you've been waiting for since the end of last year when you got swept and Lowry was hurt? So you're just thinking, you know what? Our bench is better. We have extra troops. Kyle Lowry's healthy. He's well rested. Let's go.
So they fought all year long for the number 1 seed.
And home court advantage to give it up to LeBron.
Doesn't make sense.
I don't-
What did LeBron say before the playoffs started? When maybe like a month after the trades happened, didn't he say, "Doesn't matter where we are"?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where
LeBron,
we are.
LeBron did
Doesn't
say,
matter,
it was a
you
couple
know?
years ago, LeBron said you put him on any team in the Eastern Conference and he could win a round in the playoffs. Any team. That's his mentality.
This is coming from the man who sabotaged the conference. So he already knows.
He knows what it is.
He knows what it is. This is coming from the man who sabotaged the conference.
knows
said he
what it is.
sabotaged the conference. Don't kill me, Foots.
I'm just saying, man.
He knows what it is, man.
I
He
don't
knows
know.
what it is. Like I said, I just think, like I said, prior to the series starting,
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't that confident. He had to play one game to see where he was at
Mm-hmm.
and to where his team was at.
Thank you.
LeBron is good at feeling out a series,
feel
feeling
it
out a game. Like that's his whole
had to
MO.
feel it out.
And so if you go back to the regular season, remember the Raptors blew out the Cavs early on in the year. Like was that December or January or something like that?
Yeah.
The Raptors blew them out, ran them out of the gym. So now the big matchup came later on in the season. And if you remember, that game was played tight. It was close. Everyone was on the Raptors wave by that point. LeBron and them won. And remember, you could see he was like, oh, okay, these are the same Raptors. Remember? No, because if you remember back to that game, there was moments where he just looked up at Pirtle, food. Looked up at Siakam, food, to the bucket. And remember, he hit a and one and then like pointed at their bench, like, get out of here type thing. Remember that? To me, that was him feeling out the team and being like, okay, so this is pretty much the same Raptors. Yeah, they got some more other guys, but we're still
same
cool.
team. Yeah,
We're
it's
still
the same
cool.
team.
They beat them twice, and then now that to me gave them the confidence to say something like, "Oh, I'll wing it. I'm tired. I'm drained, but I'm winging it in game 1 and just seeing what happens." And that's why. And then tonight, he's playing horse in the third quarter.
There's no respect. He has no respect
But you got
for the
but
Raptors
you
in
got-
general.
Again, you go back.
But
to
why
game
should
one
he?
is-
Why should he?
shouldn't.
Let's be serious. Why should he?
He shouldn't.
2 years ago, they beat the Raptors in 6 in the conference finals, and we know, and Q, I'm saying this with the preface, we don't need to get too far into it, but I'll say that we know that the Cavs might have had some fun in the city middle of the series when they were up 2-0 and came to Toronto and lost those 2 games. We might know that. I'm not going to get into it. I'm just saying we
I
know.
wouldn't know I was in Vegas at the time.
But Foots,
We
I'm
definitely
just
know. We
I'm just saying they might have had some fun,
Hey, man.
right? Now, from there,
The city
From
was
there-
dry of Hennessy that weekend. That was
from
what I heard.
from there, right? It was 2-2. The Cavs won the next 2 games, won the series. Last year, they came into Toronto up 2-0, took care of business. This year, they come back to Toronto as a 4 seed, and the Raptors are the 1 seed. They come in tired. While the Raptors were chilling, resting all
How many
weekend.
days off?
The Raptors would have won Game 6 on Friday. They didn't play again until Tuesday.
3 days.
But you can't even say the Raptors like were rusty because the Raptors still. I mean, it was a
not
6-game
rusty.
series,
It's not
but they
rusty.
still. But I'm saying like they should have been in mode because they had to fight through Washington. Washington wasn't a breeze.
No.
So you guys should
Washington-
you guys could have came into this series game ready. With that extra thing of now we can go let's beat LeBron.
I think the
A little extra
Raptors.
motivation.
I think the Raptors forgot what happened the last 2 times they played LeBron in the finals. Doesn't matter who's on that team.
You can't forget it though.
I think they forgot because it
can't
seems like
forget.
they're forgetting every year.
No, but
It
you
doesn't matter who's on that team.
You can't
LeBron
forget
is
because-
on that
But
team.
this is the
You
thing,
can't
though.
forget
Everyone.
because Shannon Sharp calls them the baby dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And this is national television.
Yeah, the American media won't
Right?
let them.
Stephen A. Smith forever clowns them.
Yeah.
I guess this
Like,
is why.
At some point, have some balls. At least put up a fight.
Yeah.
I
Put
want
up
to
a fight.
see Coach Casey take the ball out of LeBron's hands and make somebody else make plays or score.
LeBron had a playoff career high 14 assists in this game.
And he assisted or scored on what?
Pick 'em up
80%?
full court.
80% of their points. Like, come on,
It's
that can't
domination.
happen.
It's
Pick 'em
domination.
up full
He was
court.
85% of the offense.
How do you not-
85% of the offense. That's
Something like
coaching.
that, yeah, they
How
said
do you
that.
not
Pick
pick
'em
him
up
up
full
triple
court.
team at him? Something.
Something.
Pick him up full court.
Something.
You gotta throw something at him.
Kevin Love said LeBron James told him Tuesday morning he would attack mismatches with fadeaway jumpers over each shoulder. Then he did that in game 2. Quote, he actually called his shots this
Disrespect.
morning. That's just one of the examples
Disrespect,
I could
man.
use of how locked in he
Were
was.
we not calling it? Were we not calling it? We're calling it when we're watching it. We're calling it. We're calling it when we're watching the game.
I didn't even see that quote when I said he was playing horse. I just saw that quote.
Me and Foots called
He's
it.
calling his shots
Foots
now.
called it.
That's a disrespect.
Foots said,
Me
yo, the
and
man
Beals were
look-
just, we were talking like, yo, it looks like this guy's really calling his shots, and then for him
calling
to
that,
come
bro.
out now
We're
and
calling that.
it's true fact.
That's a disrespect, man.
disrespectful, man.
Shout out to the people in the
crazy.
chat here. I see some people here in the chat. I see in I can't even see what that says. Halos and Horns. I see Halos and Horns. I see at 80 Arsenal. I see at Gladly Debt. Maybe that's Detroit. Maybe not sure. But shout out to all the people in the chat. Keep sending us questions. We'll try to answer them. Let's see. We got someone here that says, "Got to win 4 out of 5 games. Looking like this series is over."
Might be a sweep thing, though.
Bring back Tracy and Vince. Someone to sing. LeBron James is MVP, hands down.
I'm gonna wear the Tracy and Vince t-shirt on Saturday.
Alan Alacran 214 says LeBron has always owned the Raptors, nothing new. Then follows up and says DeRozan can't lead a team as the main star. It's proven. Wow. If the
like facts
Cavs
out
play like they have the last 3 games, they would have a chance in the finals.
No way.
I don't believe that.
Not a shot.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. But again, we appreciate the comments in the group here on Periscope. If you're looking at this on Facebook, click on or not on Facebook. Sorry, if you're looking at this on Twitter, click the actual link that you see, and it'll set you up to the Periscope page where you can join in, log into the conversation, and ask us some questions. We'll try to read your comments. I promise I would try to do that last time, so we're doing it here. And yeah, I don't want to say this. I don't want to say this because it's 2-0, and the Raptors could. I mean, mentally, I feel like that's the biggest problem. It's not physically. I feel like their team is solid. It's all mental. No, like
Let's
I want to say they should, like it's not over and they have a chance, but to me, it's like they're mentally defeated. Like they mentally don't think that, and I hate saying this because we're not inside their heads. I'm not a psychiatrist. I don't know, but the thing that I'm watching here, I have no other explanation other than they don't believe they can beat LeBron James.
it's, like I said, it's basketball, so game 3, they could come out and they could win, and that could be the one game to get their confidence up. We don't know that. But as of right now, it's not looking like that, man. It's
not at all.
It's not looking like that.
I feel like they panic. I feel like they go down 2, 3, 4, 5 points, and all of a sudden CJ Miles comes in the game, and it's like a 3-point barrage. Like we have to get these points back right now.
I'm telling you, man, the way that the Raptor season went, and Raptor fans back me up because I know you guys watch each and every Raptor game cheering them on. But the way that every Raptor game went was regardless of what the starters did in the first quarter, to start the game, the bench would come in and the bench would just like wipe out a lot of teams. And Ty Lue did that adjustment and made sure that wasn't going to happen. LeBron was going to be on the floor against them, against the Raptors bench, and you weren't going to blow them out. They're going to be right there. But that's how the Raptors won, whether we like it or not. That's how the Raptors won all year.
You're right, but I'm saying like I think if I'm not mistaken, Lowry and DeRozan had 19 points in the first quarter.
I'd have to look that up. I don't know. They're off to a good start. Lowry was off to a good start for sure.
Combined, they had 19 points in the first quarter, right? So now you're going to start the second off with their customary rest. You bring in the bench squad. But then you see LeBron James on the court. Does not one of Lowry or DeRozan immediately come back right on the court?
Not if you don't think that your best unit is your starters.
No, what I'm saying to you is just one.
Right?
No, but just one. I'm not saying
that's your real problem.
I'm not saying that you tell the bench squad to go back to sit down, but you put in one of those guys, right?
Yeah.
Because DeRozan is not. I don't know why, because he's still young, he's still athletic, but he slows the game down.
In order for
right.
But slowing the game down doesn't benefit the Raptors at all.
No, but that would stop. But you can't. But if LeBron's going off and Kevin Love is going off how they are, you have to limit their possessions. Or at least score.
Yes.
Right? Going back, you got to at least score.
Are we expecting too much from DeRozan in general?
No.
Yes,
no.
we definitely are.
Too much from him?
No, you can't be.
What do you mean you can't be?
You can't be.
Why can't we be?
Are we expecting him to be that two-way player?
There's levels to this,
No,
and he's not on that level.
But I never said nothing but defend.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you. I'm
Get
saying
buckets.
other Raptor fans. Are they expecting him to be that two-way player?
No, do you know what? Hold on.
You know, Q. You know.
Hold on.
I know. But
I'm gonna
say no. I think Raptor fans are expecting him to be that two-way player.
But I think
to drop 30 and hold LeBron or play spectacular. He's not that type of guy.
No, but that's where I think it comes.
It's never been that guy.
It's not those basketball fans. It's those fair weather fans. Like I'm from Toronto, so I'm gonna rep the Raptors, and Drake's a part of the team. And
But here's my thing, right? Here's my biggest beef. Even if DeMar DeRozan isn't a two-way player, he's supposed to be a scorer. Like he was, right? And it's like even if you're a volume shooter, I'd much rather see Russ empty the clip with go down shooting 40-something times and putting up 40 points. I'd much rather see my star player go out like that than just sit there and kind of be like, maybe we need Van Fleet. Right? Like, that's what's going on. And I let's be serious for a second here, right? Like, there's leaders on your team, and your leaders are and I know money isn't everything, but this is what we're going with. You're the leaders of the team. Things have to fall on your shoulders at the end of the day.
So
at the end of the day.
So are we talking about are we talking about our bench being better than our starters?
I'm saying that there's a mixture of units that your 5-man unit that starts a game definitely is not your best 5-man unit.
Who's the best 5-man unit the Raptors have?
It doesn't involve Serge Ibaka. It doesn't involve Serge Ibaka.
Where we have
Casey has confidence.
He doesn't know what it is. He doesn't know what it is.
What Sheldon was talking about is every NBA team usually the starters start the first quarter.
Yeah.
In the second quarter, everybody plays their second unit, and our second unit was better by 10 points or more than most other teams. Right?
Most other teams' benches.
Most other teams' benches.
Now, when everyone was talking about, in the playoffs that changes, everyone was like, no, it doesn't. Well, it does because the starters play more. Yes. Right? And so especially when, again, I hate to keep bringing up the exact same thing, but I think that was really the factor in the game. When you adjust the minutes so that, your advantage of the bench against our bench doesn't exist because now LeBron and the bench is on.
Thank you.
You got to salute Ty Lue, man.
Right, but that's where Casey loses because I think that's when whoever's effective at that point, whether it be DeRozan or Lowry, has to come in the game and at least close the gap.
Yeah.
If not on the defensive end, the offensive end.
Yeah.
I'm talking about on the offensive end. You got to close the gap.
Yeah.
Something's got to happen.
Something's got to happen just because, what is going on right now is the most pathetic thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought last year was bad. I really did think that last year's loss was bad. I really did. And then now all of a sudden to see this.
What are the options? You obviously can't stop LeBron. But what are the options? This is obvious.
Yeah.
What are the options to contain him to where he's more of a passer?
Double team.
no,
get the
you
ball
don't.
out of
No,
his
you
hands.
don't.
Is there even options for that?
Indy
but-
tried to not double team LeBron and just let him. The problem to me with that is when you don't double team LeBron, you're letting him control the game, right? And I think if you double team him, at least then the decision making falls upon someone else. Because whoever that person is that he passes it to out of the double team, they now have to make the decision. Am I shooting? Am I making the swing pass? Am I doing whatever? But you're making someone else control the tempo and the flow of the game. But if you're just letting LeBron in single coverage decide every time, you know what? Okay, this time I want to take it in the post. You know what? Okay, no, I'm gonna take you on the left wing right now, and I'm gonna nice you up and hit a fadeaway
And he's already
three.
calling his shots, right?
Yeah,
Exactly. You
That's
know what I
because
liked?
of lack of double teaming getting the ball out
Exactly.
of his
You
hands.
know what I liked? What Indiana did, like, kind of like what you said. In the Indiana series, it seems like they let him play a lot of one-on-one basketball, and I think that was because they were confident
in their
in the
defenders.
defense.
Yeah.
It seems like they let him go into the corner a lot
Mm-hmm.
and just do one-on-one. And anytime he would get in the lane,
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't aggressive. He would just kick.
Yeah.
And he would rely on they weren't making shots.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when he started to realize that, okay, I gotta take the game, I gotta make better offensive decisions.
Yeah.
And he started doing that. I think that's when he
But
started
Indy was
becoming more
comfortable.
dominant.
Indy was comfortable doing that too, because Bogdanovich was going at LeBron. On the
And
other
you
end.
had Thaddeus Young. That's so
And
many
you had
pieces.
Thaddeus Young
And
going
you
at
had
him.
and
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
And
Is,
you had
is,
Lance.
is when I see OG get
Lance
the
to make
ball
him dance.
on
Lance to make him
offense,
dance.
Right?
OG always just goes and stands in the corner.
Yeah.
Then right, and if you do
But
that,
here's
then,
the other
then you're,
thing,
then
too.
you're allowing LeBron to play free safety, where he
here's
clogs up the
also
lane.
true. That's
and
very
then
true.
take- and that takes
Yeah.
and that
That's
takes,
very true.
But as a coach, you're supposed to say, "Yo,
Yeah.
OG's supposed to run baseline to baseline."
Yeah.
And if LeBron decides he's not going to chase you, then you are open under the basket.
Yeah.
It's true.
You're not wrong.
I think when OG's
You're
on
not
the
wrong.
floor, they gotta make a decision because LeBron's obviously not gonna guard him.
Yeah.
He's gonna play off him. They gotta
Yeah,
make a
yeah,
decision.
yeah,
You gotta move. You gotta keep the ball.
Yeah.
Because he's not making shots either.
Constant
So you gotta either constant movement, or if you're gonna score right away, the ball can't go on his side.
Yeah.
You gotta run a little triangle, whatever, and keep the ball away from him.
Yeah.
Because LeBron's not gonna play defense on him, and when he doesn't hit shots regardless.
That's
So
what most teams, they allow LeBron to play free safety, and that's when you see him make those spectacular steals and race up court for the dunk, because you allow him to play free safety.
If OG's just gonna play defense, let him play defense. Because offensively, he's not really making any shots. Right?
But the thing is, to
He's
me,
not an option on
the thing to me on the offensive end, though, like if you look at what the Cavs do how the Pacers were trying to defend LeBron, they were kind of saying, we'll live and die with covering LeBron one-on-one, because if he gets 50, whatever, but we're going to make sure Love doesn't score. We're going to make sure the other guys don't score. And now against the Raptors, those other guys are scoring. Right? Like that almost worked for Indy. Indy almost won in 7.
They're leaving. They're leaving to now, as LeBron James is now going to the basket. They're leaving Kevin Love and Kyle Korver and J.R. Smith open for wide open threes.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Practice after practice threes.
Yeah. No, definitely.
They're not. I just. Man,
So
the
you either
Raptors,
you let LeBron. So what I'm saying is you let LeBron drive to the basket, and that's where somebody tacks the shit out of him, right?
You gotta rough him up, man.
Right? Valanciunas steps in
comfy.
front of him.
Yeah.
Maybe Valanciunas is not a shot blocker, but he tries to take a charge. So now LeBron's going into 7 foot and ends up on the ground, or Miles or somebody.
You gotta make him feel
No, and one. Don't soft tap him.
Something.
You know, you lay a beating on him.
Yeah.
You make it tough.
Yeah.
And you make sure, because again, LeBron James layup, that's 2 points. A Kyle Korver 3 is 3 points.
That's a Golden State Houston Rockets
the,
math.
The truth is, we need a Lance Stevenson. We need a born ready. That's just the truth. That's just the truth.
Again,
That's just the truth.
You need
again,
the
like we were saying earlier,
And we had that.
There's 27 teams in the NBA that would love to have.
We had that in PJ
that.
Tucker, and for whatever reason, they didn't want to give him the money.
Here-
That's fine.
No, PJ Tucker wanted to leave. He
He
had
wanted to
he
leave.
had the option on the table to go to Houston, right? So I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure he took less money to go to Houston.
Apparently, the Raptors offered him 12, somewhere in the $12 million range, and he took 8.5 or something.
Yeah, to go to
the chip.
Houston.
He wants
Yeah,
the
he
chip.
wanted to go to Houston, and
the chip.
I'm telling you, the thing that, and obviously this is my assumption. I don't know this, but I'm assuming that PJ Tucker, for one reason or another, you got a chance to be in the Raps locker room for half a season down the stretch, watch them in the playoffs. You got to be the guy on that bench.
Wasn't he calling out DeRozan?
Well, there was a moment, yes, late in the season,
was he not?
they had PJ Tucker did call a players only meeting. There was a moment in that season, down the stretch where PJ Tucker called a team meeting, and they had to iron out some biz because he didn't like what was going on. So now, see how that played out. You have the option. Am I going to go with James Harden and Chris Paul in Houston, or am I going to stay with these guys that I've already seen are out here talking about how we don't have LeBron James, we can't win, and Lowry, and you watch Lowry not play in the playoffs. I don't know, man. It's not good. I'm looking at a picture right now, and the caption says JR's creeping, and it's LeBron at the podium with JR looking around the corner as if to say, yo, man, let's go type thing. Look at that.
We got stuff to do.
We got Henry to drink.
What is it?
Was it Thursday night?
Thursday night, the
I'm
city.
sure Lost and Found got the Hennessy
Found.
Yo.
bottles on lock.
Shout out to my guy Goodale who messaged me to ask me if I have a plug at Citizen. Goody, I'm gonna text you in a second. I'm a little busy though.
That's crazy, man.
Is that the Cavaliers after party spot? Good.
I don't.
Lost and found.
I don't know, man. Wildflower. I don't know. Probably. Who knows,
Could be
man?
Wildflower.
Who knows? I mean, this
got-
is sad,
plug at
man.
Wildflower.
This is actually sad. Like when we really break it down, this is sad. This is a pathetic performance for the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah.
It's disappointing.
Again, just to remind you, we are the Ball on Blast podcast. I'm just gonna, in case we have people late joining the party here, and I didn't say this off the top, but I should have. We are again at Clean Cuts Barbershop, which is at 2013 Danforth Avenue in the east end of Toronto, on the Danforth and Woodbine. Come through if you ever need a fresh cut. I know I need to, for sure. I definitely need a cut. Getting kind of gruffy here. But, shout out to Skip, too, who lets us use his shop to do the little post-game on blast shows.
Shout out Skip.
Shout out Skip, man.
But, once again, the Raptors lose big time to the Cavs, 128-110, and now we're down 2-0 in their second-round series.
Bye-bye home court advantage.
No urgency, man.
No home court advantage. You basically gave up home court advantage. The Cavs now have home court advantage. And on top of that, I'm going to ask you guys something. If you had the best regular season in franchise history, you were the number one seed in the Eastern Conference, and you lose in the second round, is that a disappointing season? I'm leaving LeBron out of it. I'm just saying you lost in the second round.
Well, I don't think you leave LeBron out of it just because. But like I said,
Well, you're getting embarrassed. You're not even giving
But-
LeBron.
but it's a
if you
regular
go to
game,
7,
That's
Answers
what I'm
yes.
saying.
Thank you.
Answers yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Answers
That's what I'm
yes.
saying.
It answers
It's a disappointment, but again, you can look at it and be like, we lost to LeBron James. As long as it's competitive. If it goes 6-7 and everything is a 1-point game like game one, I think
Here's the thing.
I think you could leave without.
But here's the thing. I don't think Raptor fans were expecting that. I think Raptor fans were expecting more.
Well, I'm not really worried about the Raptor fans. I'm worried
I
about.
think they're thinking this is it. We're going to the conference finals. We're going to the finals.
Yo,
This is it.
LeBron, two things here, LeBron related. Again, I always try to update what's going on Twitter as well. And a dude I work with, Faisal Kamiza, actually says on Twitter, quote, my friend on the GO train back to Oakville says a fight nearly broke out because people were arguing about LeBron. Also, this is LeBron, and this to me is why LeBron is so good, because he's so good at playing mind games, because he knows everyone's going to come out at Dwayne Casey, right? What does LeBron say right now when talking about the 2011 loss to the Raptors, right, when they lost a couple games? Oh, no, sorry. The 2011 loss to the Mavs when Dwayne Casey was the defensive coach for the Dallas Mavericks, and the Mavs beat LeBron in the Heat. Remember that season?
Yeah, I remember.
So LeBron, about the 2011 loss, he says, quote, I wasn't as good of a player in that series. Dwayne Casey drew up a game plan in that series to take things away that I wasn't good at. He's part of the reason I am who I am today. To me, that's LeBron playing mind games.
Of course.
Right? Like that's like he knows people are gonna be crushing Dwayne Casey. And now that he's cooking Dwayne Casey, he's gonna be like, "Yo, ease up on him.
him a
You know,
little
it's not,
confidence.
he's not his fault. I'm just that nice. I just got that much better."
But again, that team, you had a killer in Dirk.
Straight
who's going to
killer.
go back at him.
Yeah.
Straight killer.
So LeBron's going to score
And a
40.
bunch- and
Dirk
a
was going to
bunch-
score 40.
And a bunch of experienced role players who didn't care who
Right.
LeBron was.
Tyson Chandler,
Yeah.
All right.
Deshaun
Sean
Stevenson.
Stevenson, Jason
Yeah.
Terry.
Remember,
Jason
they made,
Kidd.
remember, they
Jason
made a
Kidd was on that
freestyle.
team
Remember,
too.
men made a freestyle about Deshaun Stevenson. That's how good of defense he was playing against
Oh,
LeBron.
that was from the other series. That was from when Deshaun Stevenson was in Washington.
Okay, yes.
Remember
yes,
that?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. That was Jay-Z had the track with on that.
On the
I
Too
want to say
Short,
the
Blow
Too
the
Short.
Whistle.
Yes.
Yes.
So we know that Charles Barkley was one of the biggest names, I guess, to have picked the Raptors, saying that he was riding with the Raptors. And now Bubba Watson, golfer, for those who don't know, replies to Charles Barkley on Twitter and says, "What happened to Chuck in the North winning? At King James happened again. Hashtag Bron Bron." Chuck's not having that. Chuck's not having it at all. He's not in the mood. But hey, yeah, it's a tough game out
And
there.
the Raptors could use old school Charles Barkley right now.
They could
Because
use.
they need
oh,
somebody
man,
to
I don't
punch
even know what to
somebody in
say.
the face because something's going on right now.
I don't.
They have to. They have to mucky it up. They have to. That's the only way I see the Raptors even getting a game.
If I was going to
though-
give you guys a percentage, what would you put it at? The Raptors' chances to come back and win this series. What's the percentage?
I thought we already went through this. I said coming in, I was gonna give it about a 7. I'll say 75.
Well,
I might have said
maybe
70
you
or
gave
80.
your opinion, but there's other people
I
on
know,
the
but
panel
I'm-
here,
but
Q.
but, you know,
Right?
after the game 1 loss, I went down to a 50%,
Okay,
and now I'm at about a 2%.
Is this
2%,
percentage
okay.
of winning the series or just
winning the series.
0%.
Beals?
winning a game and winning a series are two different
What's
things.
that? What's that TV show they have? Price is Right.
Price is Right rules? Is that what you mean? The like.
So you said 0. I'm going like 2.
You're just going. You're giving them a little. So you're telling me there's a chance? Is that the dumb? That's a Dumb and
I'm
Dumber.
just saying, like, at the end of the day, it's still basketball.
Yeah.
So Saturday night could be that could be the game. We don't know that.
I
But
also
right now, it's
see-
not looking good,
They
right?
get one.
I also see LeBron and them taking that mentality that they don't want to travel back to Toronto again. How much, like, you would assume we think that Sixers Celtics series might take a while. So imagine if they do sweep the Raptors, and they could stress the importance of that. If you're LeBron and getting that rest, woo.
See, my thing is even if the Raptors were to take Game 3, do they have the mental toughness to know that LeBron and James and the Cavs are going to come in gunning in Game 4? Do they have the mental toughness to then say we're going to take that hit
Yeah.
and still rise above that?
They should.
And that's what we've never seen from them.
They should, because they went
Yeah.
to the conference finals and had the same situation with it. You know, LeBron's not into taking L's like that.
Yeah.
You know he's not into that.
But now that Kevin Love is, I mean,
He's catching,
they
he's
woke
catching,
up.
He's catching.
They woke up Kevin Love, which I don't know if you wanted to do that if you're the
I don't even know
Raptors.
if they woke up. They haven't
He's, like I said,
Well, the Toronto
they
Raptors.
haven't challenged him.
They force fed Kevin Love. They force fed him the ball early, and he was missing shots. And they just kept going to him because they knew long term how important it would be to get him scoring. Man, it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
But again,
Definitely tough.
what happened today is not going to happen. Hopefully, it doesn't happen on Saturday, right? Like Kevin Love is not going to say, "Oh, I'm hot," and stay hot through Friday, through tonight at Lost and Found, through Friday, right?
He's
And then-
he's already placing the Cavs in the
All the- all the
spot
way-
right now.
Right? Then all
Lost
the way
and
to
found.
Saturday, then all the way to Saturday night. He's gonna have to rebuild himself again in that game. Now, are the Raptors gonna sit down and let that happen? And Serge Ibaka, I hope somebody's, please, if you guys are following us, hashtag these guys. So let them hear the real.
at them, man.
Right?
At them.
Is Serge Ibaka gonna take the L again?
At
Just
them, man.
let Kevin Love outscore him by 30?
Come on, man. No.
You know?
That's ridiculous.
What we did at the end of last podcast after game 1 was we asked who do you think was the biggest X factor in this game? And I feel like I'm going to skip that because we know it was a lot of it's Lebronto, right?
Toronto.
Yeah.
it
Until
was.
further notice, Drake is not the sixth god. Drake is not the sixth god. In fact, didn't the NBA tell him that he needs to sit down? I saw the front page of the Sun today, was it? Yeah, the front page of the Sun. Steve Simmons to Drake. This is the time to sit down and shut up. Stop posing for the cameras and stop posing for the cameras and acting like you're part of the team. With the caption that says "Court Jester." That's the front page of the Toronto Sun today.
Again,
the front page of the Sun Sports. I will say, I'm not saying that I'm agreeing with Steve Simmons and going that hard at Drake, but I'm just saying it was a huge set of L's today for the whole city of Toronto. Drake is no longer the sixth god. It is Lebronto, no?
Again, I was listening to, I think it was the Mad Dog show on the radio all day, and they were saying that the way this guy acts is like he's waiting for Lowry to go down, and this guy has a jersey on under his shirt saying, "Coach, put me in." Like this guy really thinks he's actually, a part of the team. Like he's on the bench, the extended bench, like ready to get that call to go in.
Man. And listen. Just say Raps lose this series. Yo, stop with the Carabana shenanigans, promoters, man.
What do you mean? LeBron coming in and
That
LeBron
stuff has to stop, man. If they lose, you gotta cut it out, man.
For people that don't know, what Beals is talking about is the fact that each and every summer, LeBron comes up to Toronto for a week of Carabana shenanigans because promoters are paying him tens of thousands of dollars to make club appearances for the weekend in Toronto. So LeBron's always here.
Talking to you, Cabana.
LeBron's always here making money. I ain't mad at him. If you could come to the city and make a quick what? 50,000?
Exactly. I'm a huge LeBron fan.
Yeah.
I'm a Toronto kid at heart, so I
I
want
see
to
what
see
you're
Raptors
saying.
win.
You're saying we should have some civic
Have
pride.
Grit, man.
Thank you.
Pride,
Some civic
man.
pride.
I'm a
We're
huge
fans.
LeBron fan. I want
Yeah,
to see him win, but I'm a Toronto kid, so I want to see the Raptors win more.
And he's just straight
Come on,
disrespecting.
man.
You've
Come
had
on,
enough
man.
of him just
Come on,
disrespecting
man.
our
Have
city.
some Toronto pride. Come on, you just can't let the guy come in here, fish fillet us, and then we go to the club and we party with this guy. Come on, guys.
He's marinating
You already
us
know who
every
I'm talking
game.
about, certain men's I'm talking about.
You know who they are.
There's a picture circling around of men's Cabana wearing the next man's jersey.
I'm not saying
I'm just
names.
saying, Toronto. We gotta have some type
we're
of
not
pride.
saying names.
I gotta
Certain
look-
promoters.
We gotta have some type of
Why are
pride.
we not saying that?
Yo, I gotta look that up. No, I gotta
Wayne
look that
Warner.
up. No, I
Wayne
gotta.
Warner.
Oh, I didn't even know. I gotta.
Wayne Warner.
I don't
No
even
more
know.
Cabana if LeBron wins.
I gotta look that up. I didn't even see those
Wayne
pictures.
Warner. No more Cabana if LeBron wins. If LeBron wins, we not support your party no more. No, we can't do that, man.
Facts, man.
You can't, man. You can't do that. This guy's torching the city every time.
I can't believe it's
Can't, man.
Lebronto. Yo, man, let's get out of here because
That's the most disrespect.
it's the most disrespectful
Shout
thing
out
I've heard
Wayne
so
Warner,
far.
man. We playing with you.
We playing, man. We
playing.
playing.
Wayne
Get your
Warner's
money,
dope.
man.
Wayne
I ain't mad
Warner's
at you.
dope. Wayne Warner's
Yo,
Get your
dope.
money. All you club
Yeah,
promoters, get your money.
yeah.
man.
Get
Do
your
what
money,
gotta
club
do.
promoters. You guys are able to
playing,
charge.
we playing,
You guys
we
are able to
playing.
charge 100 plus
You
to
gonna
for
charge
people.
100. Make sure you charge 200 now.
Right? You charging how much money for people to go to clubs? Get your money. I
playing,
ain't mad
man.
at you. Play on. Get your money.
Yeah, get your paper, player.
Yeah, tell the people where they can find you. I'm sorry, I'm rattled by this whole Lebronto thing, but we'll start at the far end. Beals, tell the people where they can find you online.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter, BillsBTMG. That's for sure.
So that's Q. Got two. We got DDS Caps on Instagram at DDS Caps. There's also my personal one that's at simply_just_Q.
It's very complicated. But okay.
Simply just Q with a bunch of underscores in between.
All right.
You can find us at DDS Caps on all social media platforms.
At DDS Caps,
At
okay.
DDS Caps.
And again, I am Sheldon Alexander. You can find me on Twitter at Shell Alexander and on Instagram at Sheldon Alexander. And as always, this has been game 2 of our Raps post-game show here on the Ball on Blast podcast. As always, unpolished and unapologetic. If I can get over this whole Lebronto thing, you might see us after game 3. But I don't know. But until next time, thank you for tuning in, everyone on the chat groups and wherever you found this. If you're listening, you can find us on YouTube and on SoundCloud and on iTunes. You can find the audio podcast. We'll put the video up on YouTube afterwards as well. Share it. Tell your friends. Share it because we're trying to have fun here where we're just talking, breaking down ball with our friends, and we want to know what you think because this is about the people. We want to interact with you, give you guys a platform as well to enjoy, get your thoughts out there, talking about the game and the city that we all love. It is still Toronto. We will survive this Toronto. This Lebronto thing will pass.
It will pass.
I hope. But until next time, see ya.
This is Ball on Blast, Raps post-game playoff edition. Part of the On Blast podcast network. Available on iTunes, SoundCloud and YouTube. If you like it, then subscribe and tell your friends. Holla.